All right. What's up, everyone? I'm really excited for this. It's the first of many staff spotlight interview series, and it's something that we're going to bring to you once a week with a different staff member at Buckeye Recovery Network. I'm excited for this first one because we have Eric Ochoa, who is our clinical director here, ready to go. And it's going to be about a 10-15-minute interview together. And hopefully you guys get to know Eric a little bit and get to hear a few things about his personal, professional development over the years. So Eric, what's going on, bud? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, surf was fun this morning, so it's so far so good.
The surf was good. You know, self-care is really important in a clinician's arsenal. And ever since I've known Eric, he's up in the morning. I call him a merman, and he's swimming with the dolphins and surfing at a really high level. Recently, I know you've added some running in the mix too. Tell us a little bit about your running routine.
Well, it was really just to see what I could do. We have some added pressure expanding our our care, so I thought I'd do some self-care and add running. And I'm in my 24th week now, and really I'm excited about what I'm seeing. And my distress tolerance has gone up. My ability to stay calm has improved, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from the people who are close to me and what it's like dealing with me on a daily basis. A lot easier.
Right on, man. Well, it's sure it's going to make you a more well-rounded clinician because, like you said, emotion regulation and self-care, it's key. And I appreciate the leadership you have. So let me just tell everybody how I know Eric. So going back to 2012 now, this is 9 years ago, man. We were in an elevator ride in graduate school. And in that elevator ride, we started to have a chance to talk to each other. And, you know, I just talk to random people all the time awkwardly. So that's what I do. And I said, hey, why are you doing this MFT stuff? Why are you trying to be a therapist? And you started to share with me about your professional experience prior to that. You know, you were a really successful graphic designer and you've been in various management positions. You had a couple different positions and not in the clinical world. And you said, you know what, I just never felt a sense of purpose. You know, I never felt like I was doing something that I was being called to do. And you are a man of faith. And that was something that you wanted to be able to incorporate in your daily practice in the place that you work and in the work that you do with human beings. And I just knew right then and there, man, this guy's doing it for the right reason. So we didn't get to work with each other right off the bat, but I think it was somewhere along the lines of 2015 that we became officially coworkers. And, you know, we've been working side by side ever since then. So these past 6 years have been great. So you remember that elevator ride, brother?
Oh, it blows me away how clearly you remember. That's exactly what I said and how I felt. I really loved being a graphic artist, but it just wasn't fulfilling in the way that I think it was in high school I realized I wanted to be some kind of talk therapist. And it took me a long time to get there. It wasn't until I was 38 years old that I actually went back to college. I spent 18 years in a career that I enjoyed, but never was fully passionate about. And that elevator ride is like the moment or the culmination of a multitude of moments that led me to where I am today, unknowingly. Like, it wasn't my goal to be a clinical director. I just wanted to be a therapist. I wanted to sit down and talk to people, talk out their challenges and help them find solutions.
Yeah, right on, man. It's I won't forget that elevator ride either. So tell everybody here kind of, you just said you're the clinical director, but let people know kind of what you do on a day-to-day here at Buckeye, how you take up the time of your day. And I could see some stuff in the background there. I see a guitar, I see a surfboard, I see some art, I see a lot of cool stuff. So you're an interesting guy, but feel free to tell people what are some things that you do here at Buckeye.
Okay, on a daily basis, I see my job as just constant support. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to provide clinical direction, instruction, redirection, and just be a resource. Anything from personal challenges being in here to hearing why someone is having some difficulty just getting through the day as a client or as an employee. You know, life is a very a challenging place at times. It ebbs and flows, and for everyone, including myself, without the support of others, life can be very, very challenging. And just knowing there's a place you can go. I have an open door policy, so anyone at any time without an appointment, if my door's open, they're invited to come in and we can talk out whatever's going on, whether they be a client or one of my coworkers. So that's,
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're definitely a valued piece of this organization, and I do know that you do really well with crisis situations. You do well with acute mental health. You do well with supporting family members whenever they need the additional support to talk to someone about specifically their loved ones. And so choosing to be in the field of mental health. My question always to everybody is, what's your why? Out of all the fields in the world to work in, why did you want to be a part of the mental health and health and recovery world?
I think probably the most fascinating part of that question is its evolution, because initially I really thought I was going to be a marriage and family therapist. I thought I was going to be sitting with married couples and being an ear for their challenges and hopefully being a light to guiding them out. But that's not, it's only a fraction of what I do. I ended up working with children and moving my way into adults, and that experience with children has really provided me with an insight into behaviors that really initiated early on in development and have been carrying throughout life. And this map of understanding the child experience, the child mind is really incredibly helpful in understanding where things are now and why they are the way they are now. And the why is I always wanted to, I get to be the person I wish I had in life.
Wow.
So in all my life, I was looking for support and guidance, and I picked out a multitude of people to model myself after, not having those models in my life. I had very young parents, and they were struggling to find their own way. They did the best they could, and I'm grateful for everything that they've done. But that level of maturity, you're not going to find in young parents. So I looked outside of my own family, always looking for someone I could model myself after, and not suggesting that I am the perfect model for anyone, but just that in a world full of starving people, I happen to know where some bread is, and I'm willing to share that with anyone who could use some.
That's really well said, man. And another question I have for you that I'm curious is, if somebody didn't know something about Buckeye Recovery Network, what's something about Buckeye and our staff and our family and the way we conduct ourselves over here that they might not know that you wish they knew? So what's something you would like to, that you're proud of, that you want to share about Buckeye Recovery Network?
I think the most exciting thing about being a member of this team is how willing and able we are to sit and listen to your story. I think one of the challenges for anyone, whether on either side of the fence, someone looking to get a care provider or someone who's trying to provide care, is finding that place of unilateral understanding. Even the word itself seems like a ridiculous idea to ever be realized. But once you've spent the time of listening to someone's story, you can then generate empathy and understanding, and then provide some insight on a viable direction that's going to be sustainable. And then that's where we draw from our clinical understanding and our clinical experience and our clinical teaching, and then we convey that, but without spending the time to listen to the story and understanding where it comes from and where they were, where they are, and where they suspect they're going to be. We can intervene and help them redirect, whether it be coping or new strategies in interrupting unhealthy thinking processes or behaviors. So that's if it's a lot of information hard to sift through, it basically, we will listen. We will listen to where you were, where you are, and where you think you want to be, or where you think you're going.
Yeah, that giving the gift of listening to another human being is it is a gift. It's, I always say people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that listening allows people to understand that we actually care about you as a human being. We care about your story. We care about your life. We care about your family. And we care enough to help you get to where you want to go, whatever that is, where you want to go. And I'm really grateful that we have the opportunity to do that with people on a day-to-day basis. It's like, I don't take for granted a moment of like how cherished the opportunity is that we have, how like valuable it is. And, so what would you, on the same kind of line of conversation, if there was someone, Eric, right now struggling with substance abuse, whether themselves or a family member, or potentially someone struggling with symptoms of mental health, anxiety, depression, maybe some trauma, maybe some grief and loss, and they were just struggling in life, what would you tell them if you had the opportunity to say something to them?
Well, I'm going to quote you. One of my favorite illustrations that you've used is, it's like walking through a tunnel. and you've hit a section that's very dark, and you can't even tell if there's a light at the end because it's so dark, and you don't know if it's going to take a few more steps, a few more yards, or a few more miles before you see that light. And that's where we can be that support and help you continue walking forward, even though in this moment you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. But we know there's light because we've been down that road, and we can help direct you through it.
Yeah, that's it brings me back to one of the things of like what my why is. It's like watching somebody's eyes light up after they've made it through that tunnel, and they realize like, oh my gosh, like what they were saying was actually true, and I was able to experience that. And like them, for the first time in their life, putting their faith and trust into people and having that trust not be violated, and having that trust take them to somewhere that they wanted to get to, and they just like all of a sudden feel alive, man. That's the kind of stuff that I choose to come to work to every day. And we've created a team to help people see that light at the end of that tunnel, because life is a journey, man. And without that hope, sometimes we get lost, we get lost in that tunnel. So last but not least, and final words, this was great. It was 11 minutes. It went by in like a few minutes. Was this really cool to be able to kind of speak on behalf of yourself and Buckeye Recovery Network? Because I always say this to every tour. I say, hey, this gentleman over here in the clinical director's office, he's like a unicorn. He plays guitar, he plays piano, he surfs, he runs, he knows clinical stuff. He's always learning personal development, professional development. He's a father, he's a husband. He's by the way, talk about your recovery real quick. Your personal recovery. We didn't even touch on that.
Oh, wow. It's, my doctor told me that I was 245 pounds. I'm only a little over 5'9", and he said, if you don't stop eating and drinking, you're going to die. And my first question was when, and it wasn't because I was in a hurry to end my life or anything like that. I just wasn't in any position or ready to stop drinking. And without the help of others, without the desire, without hope, and I never would have been able to do it. And the idea that we're able to navigate these places we've never been or never seen before, all by ourselves, it just is not logical. So through the help of others, through the support of others who reached out and saw me struggling, and of course, I was finally in a place where they, okay, help me. I'm ready for help. I'm ready to listen. And now here I am. I'm 17 years later, still sober, realizing things that at one time I thought were only dreams, living out my dreams. 13-year-old Eric would be extraordinarily proud of 51-year-old Eric, because here I am living out the dream of my 13-year-old self, surfing every day, staying healthy, being a therapist, and working in a place that I get to come to work for a place I'm excited to show up at. I haven't had that experience before.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, hey, you know what? I'm grateful for that elevator ride. How about that?
Me too.
Yeah. And I'm probably going to stop the thing right here, but I do want, if you want, grab your guitar and play something. Whatever you want, man. Just it's right behind me. I know you're really proficient at it. And if we have to edit this one out, we will.
Twice, honey. Didn't have to ask twice.
If we have to edit it out, we will. But if we don't, then shit, man.
We'll probably have to edit out. If I can.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Good stuff, Eric. Appreciate you. I hope you have a good day. And thank you for being the first person on the interview series. This will be uploaded to our Facebook and our YouTube page. And I will see you in the halls, my friend. Take care. Bye, everyone.